Telling time in Spanish. So, telling time in Spanish, it's it's a traditional thing you teach when you're learning a language. You're going to get presented how to tell time, how much you really use it in real life. It comes up every now and then, but it's important for us to learn how to do it because it kind of relates to other things that you'll learn later on, and it helps us kind of get used to using the verb to be. Because remember, right now we're kind of in that situation where we've been presented two verbs to be, ser and a star, and we're saying, when do I use the verb star? When do I use the verb ser? Well, we use ser to tell time, so that's one of the rules. We use ser to tell time. So here's our issue. So here we have it's 1 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock, it's 3 o'clock. So how do we say it in Spanish? We want to be to say. So notice there's going to be a difference, and it's important. This is a huge difference. It's going to show up, and it's a difference maker on tests. So you say, there's a difference between saying 1 o'clock and all the other times in the day. So we want to say, it's 1 o'clock. So you say, es la una. Es la una, okay? Now the number 2 is plural, so it's going to be son. Son las dos. And why is it las? Because we're saying it's the second hour. It's the first hour. And the word for hour is la hora, right? You can follow that. La hora. So it's the first hour. Es la una. Son las dos. Son las tres. So once again, how do you say it's 1? Es la una. Son las dos. Son las tres. So usually when we tell the time, it's because someone asked us the time, right? And the question for telling time is what hour is it? What hour is it? Now the word it is implied, so it's que hora es. I'm going to say it real slowly. Listen to it closely. Que hora es. Now, the reality is the Spanish native speakers are going to kind of link these two words together. So you say que hora, because remember, the H is not pronounced in Spanish. So these kind of are going to go together. Que hora es. So what time is it? Que hora es. How do you say it? Que hora es. Let's say it nice and fast. Que hora es. And we can be really, really fast because some people speak it super fast. They say, que hora es. So the question is, la pregunta is, what time is it? Que hora es? And we want to say it's 4 o'clock. But we want to be a little more specific now. We want to say it's 4 p.m. It's 4 in the afternoon. So in Spanish, we are going to say, son las 4 de la tarde. It's 4 p.m. Son las 4 de la tarde. Son las 4 de la tarde. What time is it? ¿Qué hora es? It's 4 p.m. Son las 4 de la tarde. So we want to say it's 10 a.m. The question is, you're hearing it. What's that question? Yes, it's ¿qué hora es? And we want to say it is 10 a.m. Once again, we're not going to say es. We're going to say son. Son las 10 de la mañana. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 10 de la mañana. Son las 10 de la mañana. Son las 10 de la mañana. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 9 de la noche. Son las 9 de la noche. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 9 de la noche. The challenges. So, obviously, we're learning that Spanish is challenging. And one of the challenging things with telling time is we have to learn some of the weird things, which is how do you say 7:15, how do you say 7:30, how do you say 7:45? Well, let's look at 7:15 first. So we want to say it's 7:15. That's how we say it in Spanish. And the word for quarter is cuarto. Let's repeat that again. Cuarto. That's the word we're going to use to say 15, a quarter after. Cuarto. So, son las 7:15. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 7:15. So here we go. So it's 1:15. Es la 1:15. It's 3:15. Son las 3:15. And it's 11:15. Son las 11:15. So how do we say it's 3:30? So we want to be able to say it's half past. So it's 3:30. In Spanish we say son las 3:30. Say it again, media. Remember, put that D, little tip of your tongue between your teeth. We don't want to say media. We want to say media. You'll get the right D sound if you put the very tip of your tongue between your teeth. So here we go. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 3:30. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 3:30 de la mañana. Son las 3:30 de la mañana. Son las 3:30 de la tarde. So if there's going to be something that makes you hate the whole thing about telling time in Spanish, this could be it. Here's that classic thing for teachers. We always get caught up in because we were taught this, we teach it. We can go on and on. That's an interesting conversation about education in general, right? Look, you're reading the books your English teachers read, right? You're reading, and your English teachers read the book their teachers read, and that's why, look at The Great Gatsby's almost 100 years old, and you're still reading it. So that's we're still telling you how to tell time in a way that is not how almost everybody tells time. If you know how to say the word 45, digital watches have been around for a long, long time now. You don't even know a world without digital watches, and you learn how to say it's 8:45. You'd have to know the number 45. You say, son las 8:45. Well, in the textbook, we still teach you how we learned it. And what we learned how to say was, it's 9 minus 15. Son las 9 menos cuarto. So what? It's 9 minus 15. Son las 9 menos cuarto. The real world people say sometimes it's 20 to 9. It's 15 to 9. Son 15 para las 9. So there's other ways that we say it in Spanish, but the textbooks, we've been doing it a long time, and people do speak this way. So you say son las 9 menos cuarto. It sounds really formal if you say it well. So one more time, how do you say it? It's 8:45? It's 9 minus 15. 9 minus a quarter in this case. Son las 9 menos cuarto. So what are we going to say here? It's 10:55, so it's going to be what? It's going to be 11 minus 5. So we would say what? Son las 11 menos 5. Son las 9 menos 5. So here's kind of the last piece of all the things you need to do to tell time. Mind you, remember, there's a difference between placing an event in time and telling time. But today we're learning how to tell time. Do you remember the word for a clock or a watch? Think hard. Starts with an R. Next letter's an E. L-O-G. And obviously we should be spelling it in Spanish. R-E-L-O-J. That word, yes, you said it. It's reloj. Reloj is a clock or a watch. All right, so we're learning how to tell time when we look at a clock right? Somebody asks you the time, and how do you say? What time is it? ¿Qué hora es? That's right. So we say ¿Qué hora es? And then you say, in this case, you could say it's right 12 a.m., which is, you said it, it's midnight. It's midnight. So we want to be able to say what? It's midnight. Es media noche, right? Medianoche. So this other example here, the one below, is how do we say it's noon? It's noon, so we want to say it's middle of the day, right? Instead of it's middle of the night, it's middle of the day. So es medio. Remember, D between two vowels. You stick the tip of your tongue between your teeth. Es medio día. Once again, notice both D's are in between vowels, so you're going to say mediodía. I'll really exaggerate it. Mediodía. We're really going to stick you can't see me doing it, but I'm really sticking my tongue out between my teeth. So we're not saying mediodía. We want to say mediodía. Not mediodía, but mediodía. So, once again, how do we say it? Midnight, medianoche. Noon, mediodía. All right, let's finish up. I know looks like I'm gonna get to at least over 12 minutes. That's a long time to listen to me yap. But hopefully maybe you broke it up. If you're interested and you're listening, well, that means you might want to be learning this language, and I'm proud of you for sticking with me this long. So let's give it a shot. So we're 12 minutes into this thing. So here's our last example. So we want to say it's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 2:25 in the afternoon when school usually ends. It's 7:30 p.m. and then we're going to say 10:45 p.m. So let's go through it. It's 8 a.m. How do you say? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 8 de la mañana. 2:25 p.m. Say it in your head before I do. Son las 2:25. How do you say it? 25. Son las 2:25. Son las 2:25 de la tarde. Good job. And then finally, not finally, but here we go. 7:30 p.m. Son las 7:30. Son las 7:30 de la noche. Son las 7:30 de la noche. And finally, the hard one, the one that is, I have to think myself when I do this. It's 11 minus 15. Son las 11 menos cuarto. And one last example, just to remind ourselves when we do with the number 1, right? We can say it's 1. Let's think of a good number. It's 1:25. 1:25 p.m. So how are we going to say it? You think it. Remember, it's not son, but it's what? It's es la una. Es la 1:25 de la tarde. Good job. Man, we almost made it to 14 minutes. It's a long one.